This is a eulogy for Deontay for his funeral. My name's Ruby. I'm Deontay's girlfriend. Deontay would have hated this. He would have hated being in front of all these people and being the center of attention, having all eyes on him. I remember this one time when I had introduced my friends to Deontay. I had mentioned to them that he was in town and that he was coming to see me. And so around like 10 of my friends unintentionally had surrounded us, just like a circle around us. We were in the middle and he was all shy and quiet and a little bit nervous, and he had his hands behind his back and he just like waved a little bit. And you know, I was like, this is Deontay, you know, the guy that I had been telling you guys about, and the biker boy who I had been hanging out with. And you know, everybody was excited to see him. All my friends were dabbing him up and talking to him, and all my girlfriends were over here like, oh my goodness, like it's him, like y'all are so cute together. And just, it was such a cute experience. And then once the conversation, you know, shifted from him or us to his motorcycle, it was like his eyes, like his whole face would just light up. And I could tell that, you know, you could instantly tell that he just felt more comfortable because he knew so much about bikes. He knew so much about motorcycles, and he just couldn't wait to tell you about his RSV4 and his SC project exhaust that he had on his motorcycle. And just, you could ask him about anything, what helmet you should get, what bike you should get as a starter, and he could answer all that for you. And he could go on and on and on talking about his motorcycle. He loved his Aprilia. And yeah, those who did know him knew that he wasn't much of a people's person. He didn't like socializing. He didn't like big crowds. He hated that. He didn't like asking for help when we were stuck. Well, we weren't stuck. We were lost at this like 3-story mall that we had gone to for the first time, and we just kept like going in circles and we were clearly lost. And I remember asking him, like, let's just ask someone for help, like where the exit is. And he was like, no, like we'll figure it out, like I got this. And I let him, you know, figure it out. And we just kept walking around, and it wasn't till I stopped this lady and I was like, hey, I'm so sorry to bother you, like we're kind of lost. Do you think you could direct us to like the nearest exit? And she was like, yeah. And she was like, it's over there, like to the left or something. And I remember that I think she was like wrong, like she didn't even tell us the right directions. And Deontay was just super sassy, and he was like, see, I told you we shouldn't have asked, like I could have figured it out, but no. And he would always say that I got on his nerves, like jokingly. And he'd already, like when he'd come to see me, he'd say, maybe I could see you for a little bit and get on your nerves for a little bit. And it was like really cute. But although he didn't like people or talking to other people, he loved his dogs. He could go on and on talking about his dogs too. And he loved Mamba. He'd always tell me how he would love to come home and just play with her and send me videos when we weren't close. And was always the happiest with his dogs. He'd always tell me how he wanted other animals, and he wanted a cat that looked like a bobcat, and he wanted a pet raccoon, and he wasn't kidding about it. Like, he was genuinely serious about getting a pet raccoon. He loved animals. He wanted to travel. He really wanted to go to Washington for some reason. He had seen some pictures of a scenery over there, and he was set that we were going to go to Washington in the spring. And he really wanted to go to Japan with his dad. He wanted to go on all these solo trips and go backpacking on a mountain, not on a motorcycle. He wanted to go snowboarding and skiing, and he wanted to see the snow. He wanted to come back home with me and, you know, do all these winter activities with my family. He had dreams of, you know, fixing up motorcycles and having his own motorcycle shop. He had really big dreams. I'm grateful for every moment I got to spend with him. For being there on his last ride. Being with him before the accident. Being together during the accident. And although I often find myself replaying that moment over and over in my head, I'm just grateful that I was there. His aunt had told me something when we were at the hospital that really got to me. And she said, you know, I hope you don't feel guilty for being here. And at that point I did. I felt really guilty because I couldn't understand why, and sometimes I still don't understand why I'm still here and he's not. How I didn't break anything and he did. She told me you know, Deontay died doing what he loved to do, riding on his motorcycle with the person who he loved, you. And although I thought of all the what ifs and all these parallel universes, what could have happened instead that day, you know, it says in Isaiah that God does things in a very roundabout way. That to a man's ways of thinking, his works are truly mysterious. And yes, God works in mysterious ways. And although learning to grieve instead of learning to fall in love. It's really difficult. The real difficulty is saying goodbye to not only my boyfriend, my partner, but to the knowledge of him being a great friend, a great coworker, a great brother, and a great grandson. Although Gloria would say a terrible grandson. And a great son to his parents. I thank Shantae and Mitch for having such a handsome boy who I fell in love with. And I say thank you to Deontay for allowing me to be part of his life. For allowing me to meet his sisters, his brothers, his friends and family. And I thank God for my life, for being able to tell people about him and continue his dreams, his legacy. Thank you.